It was June 14th, 2021, when the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Forest Road cleanup crew found a rusted bicycle in the bushes along a wooded area in Sheboygan County, and crew leader 38-year-old Mark Davidson's breath caught when he saw the pink bell on the bicycle's handlebars. The bicycle's tires were rotted, its chain completely rusted, but that pink bell was still there, yet the girl who rode it was not. Sheboygan police had searched for Ashley Turner for 18 years. The young girl had vanished as if erased from the world. Exactly 18 years later, that bicycle on the forest road would change everything. Criminal laboratory technicians detected clear fingerprints on samples taken from the handlebars and brake levers. A scan began in the Wisconsin crime database. The first match came up in Ashley Turner's file, a young girl who disappeared in 2003 at age 17. The second match was shocking. The fingerprint on the brake lever didn't belong to Ashley. It belonged to someone else. The database gave results in 0.3 seconds. Richard Hayes, 52 years old, the Turner family's former neighbor. DNA analysis led the sweat traces and microscopic skin particles on the bicycle's metal parts to a name Sheboygan had trusted for 18 years. Church congregation member, father of two, Richard Hayes. Hayes had said in his 2003 police statement, "I never saw Ashley that day. I never saw her bicycle either." He had joined search teams, brought food to the Turner family, and said, "I'm praying she'll be found." Now police were at his door, asking him one question. "How did you touch Ashley's bicycle, Richard?" In the forest area north of Sheboygan, 200 meters from the roadside, in a shallow grave, Ashley Turner's skeletal remains were found. 17 years old, a young girl in the spring of her life, silenced because her neighbor just wanted to talk on the forest road. At 9:30 on Friday morning, August 15th, 2003, Linda Turner watched her daughter Ashley from the kitchen window. The 17-year-old girl got on her bicycle with the pink bell, waved to her mother, and began pedaling down Maple Street. Ashley had worn a pink tank top and denim shorts that morning. Her backpack contained a water bottle, cell phone, and wallet. "I'll be back by noon, Mom," she had said, leaving the kitchen. Linda looked at the sunny summer morning and watched her daughter turn the corner and disappear from sight. At that moment, thousands of teenagers across Wisconsin were doing the same thing, going out for a bike ride during summer vacation. But Ashley Turner never came home again. Ashley's plan was simple. She would follow the coastal road south of Sheboygan, spend a few hours on the Lake Michigan shoreline, and return home before noon. She had used the same route dozens of times. It was safe, popular. Other cyclists were there. But that morning, Ashley changed her route. Cell phone records showed she turned onto County Road HH instead of Lakeshore Road at 9:47 a.m. This was a wooded area, a less used road, but Ashley sometimes liked to go this way. It was quiet, close to nature. At 10:23 a.m., Ashley's cell phone gave its last signal at the north end of County Road HH, where the forest road began. Then the phone turned off, or was turned off. At 2 p.m., Linda Turner began to worry. She called Ashley. The phone didn't ring, went straight to voicemail. At 2:30 p.m., she called Ashley's friends. No one had seen her. At 3 p.m., she called Sheboygan police. When Officer Rick Sullivan answered the phone, he immediately noticed the panic in Linda's voice. "My daughter went out on her bicycle this morning. She was supposed to be back by noon. Now it's 3 o'clock. Her phone is off. Please help." Sullivan took notes, asked for Ashley's photo, got a description of the bicycle. "It has a pink bell," Linda said. "On the handlebars, a pink bell. I bought it. It was a birthday present." At 4 p.m., Sheboygan Police Department launched an official search operation. Detective Angela Morrison took the case. She was 29 years old, newly promoted, experienced in missing person cases. She determined Ashley's route. She would leave home and go from Maple Street to Lakeshore Road, but cell phone records showed something different. Ashley had turned onto County Road HH. Morrison directed teams there. Search dogs arrived at 6 p.m. Volunteer search teams were formed at 7:30 p.m. Linda and Tom Turner stood on the forest road, watching the police, their hope diminishing with each passing minute. The first 24 hours were critical. Detective Morrison knew this. Statistics were ruthless. If missing child cases weren't found in the first 24 hours, the chance of finding them dropped dramatically. Morrison focused on Ashley's last known location, the north end of County Road HH, where the forest road began. The cell phone signal had cut out here. But why? Had the battery died or was it turned off? Morrison went to the phone's last ping point. The forest road started here. It was a 2-lane dirt road, surrounded by trees, little traffic. Dogs lost the scent. There were no traces. Ashley had seemingly fallen through the earth. Morrison began questioning neighbors. Who knew Ashley? Who had seen her? Who had problems with her? Linda Turner said Ashley was a girl everyone loved. She was social, friendly, had no enemies. But Morrison continued digging deeper. She talked to Ashley's friends, examined school records, checked social media accounts. There was no suspicious activity. Ashley was a normal 17-year-old girl living a normal life. So why had she disappeared? On the third day, Morrison visited neighbors on Maple Street one by one. The Turner family lived in a small neighborhood. Everyone knew each other. Morrison knocked on every door, spoke with every neighbor. "Did you see Ashley on Friday morning, August 15th? She asked the question dozens of times. Most said no. One said yes. Richard Hayes, 34 years old, lived 3 houses down from the Turners. "Yes, detective. I saw Ashley on her bicycle passing by while I was working in the yard that morning," Hayes said. "What time?" "Between 9:30, 9:45. "Where was she going?" "I don't know. She was pedaling downhill. It was a beautiful morning to see." Morrison took her notes. Richard Hayes seemed calm, helpful, concerned. "Your family must be very upset," Morrison said. "Yes, detective, it's a terrible thing. We're praying." Morrison thanked him and moved to the next house. A week passed. 2 weeks passed. There were no clues. Search teams scanned County Road HH, checked forest roads, searched lakes. Nothing was found. Ashley Turner had vanished as if she never existed. Linda Turner looked out the kitchen window at the street every day, hoping her daughter would come back on her bicycle. But she didn't. Media interest waned. The first week it was in the news every day. The second week once a week, after the third week silence. Ashley Turner was added to the missing persons list, and the file was archived as active but unsolved. Richard Hayes was a perfect neighbor. He brought food to the Turner family, said, "Let me know if you need anything." He volunteered with search teams, walked in the forest, shouted, "Ashley! Ashley!" He participated in prayer groups at church. Linda Turner told him, "You're very kind, Mr. Hayes." Richard said, "As a father myself, I can't even imagine. I'm so sorry for you." He continued this role for 18 years. Concerned neighbor, helpful friend, praying congregation member. No one knew the truth. At 9:43 a.m. on Friday morning, August 15th, 2003, Richard Hayes was working in his yard and saw Ashley Turner passing by on her bicycle. Ashley wore a pink tank top and denim shorts. Her backpack was on her back. She wore sunglasses. Richard looked at her. The girl was so beautiful, young, innocent. Something moved inside Richard, a dark impulse. That morning his wife had gone to work. His children were at summer camp. He was home alone. Richard watched Ashley. The girl turned the corner, disappeared from sight. Richard thought of something dangerous. Then he got his car keys. County Road HH was a less used road in the southern section of Sheboygan. It consisted of forest, fields, and a few farmhouses. Richard knew he would catch Ashley here. The girl had chosen this road instead of the coast. It was quiet, lonely. Richard drove his car, moved quickly, searched for Ashley. At 10:15 a.m., he found her. The girl was at the point where the forest road began, taking a break, drinking water from her backpack. Richard stopped his vehicle. He looked out the window. "Ashley, hello." The girl turned, recognized Richard, smiled. "Hello, Mr. Hayes. What are you doing around here? Aren't you using the coastal road? I wanted to change today. This is nice too." Richard nodded. "Be careful. It's a bit deserted here." "Yes, sir. Thank you." Ashley got on her bicycle, started pedaling. Richard made a decision. He started his car and followed Ashley. The forest road was 3 kilometers long, then connected to another paved road. Richard slowly followed Ashley. The girl continued cycling. Richard followed in his car. Then Richard accelerated, came alongside Ashley, honked. Ashley stopped, turned her head. Richard rolled down the window. "Ashley, I need to talk to you." "About what?" "Get in the car. I'll show you something." Ashley's face changed. She was uncomfortable. "No, thank you, Mr. Hayes. I'll continue on my way." Richard opened the door, got out of the car. "Just 2 minutes. It's very important." Ashley took her bicycle back, started backing up. "I really have to go." Richard walked toward her. "Ashley, stop." The girl got scared. She dropped the bicycle and started running. Richard panicked. He couldn't let the girl escape. He ran, caught Ashley, grabbed her shoulder. Ashley screamed. Richard covered her mouth with his hand. They both fell to the ground. Ashley tried to resist, tried to scratch Richard's face. Richard was stronger. He put his hands on Ashley's throat, squeezed. Ashley was struggling. Her feet were kicking. Her hands were clawing at Richard's arms. Richard kept squeezing. After 90 seconds, Ashley's body relaxed, remained motionless. Richard pulled back, was out of breath. His hands were shaking. He looked at Ashley. The girl's eyes were open, but her gaze was empty. Richard understood what he had done. His panic peaked. Richard Hayes had no plan. He acted on impulse. He carried Ashley's body 200 meters into the forest from the road, hid it among the trees. He dug dirt with his hands, opened a shallow grave, put Ashley's body inside, covered it with dirt, scattered leaves on top. Then he took the bicycle. He threw the bicycle deeper into the forest from the road, into the bushes. The bicycle fell among tree branches, became invisible. Richard returned to his car, wiped his hands on his pants, got inside, looked in the mirror. There were scratch marks on his face. Ashley had scratched when she resisted. Richard went home, took a shower, scrubbed the scratch marks with soap. He would tell his wife, "I bumped into a tree branch while working in the yard." From that day on, Richard Hayes returned to his normal life, went to work, came home, played with his children, ate dinner with his wife, said nothing. Ashley's body lay on the forest road, under the ground, among the leaves. 18 years passed. Richard Hayes aged. His hair turned white. He turned 52. His children grew up, went to college. His wife retired. Richard woke up every morning and wondered, will she be found today? But they didn't find her. As years passed, Richard relaxed. Maybe she would never be found. Maybe he would take his secret to the grave. But on June 14th, 2021, everything changed. When Mark Davidson found the bicycle with the pink bell, Richard Hayes was having breakfast at home. Morning news was on television. Weather forecast was being read. Richard sipped his coffee, looked at his phone, had no idea about anything. That bicycle was now at Sheboygan Police Station. Forensic team was examining. Fingerprints were being scanned. Richard Hayes's life was about to end. At 6 a.m. on Monday morning, June 28, 2021, Richard Hayes's door was knocked. Richard went to the door in his pajamas, opened it. Outside were 4 police officers. Detective Angela Morrison stood in front, holding a paper. "Richard Hayes?" "Yes. May I help you?" "We're taking you into custody regarding the Ashley Turner murder investigation. Put your hands behind your back, please." Richard's face went completely white. His eyes widened. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. A police officer turned him around, put handcuffs on. Morrison said, "Your Miranda rights will be read." Richard said nothing, was put in the car. Neighbors watched from windows. "Richard Hayes was arrested. Why?" they said. The answer came a few hours later, for Ashley Turner's murder. In the interrogation room, Richard Hayes sat across the metal table. His lawyer was beside him. Detective Morrison and Detective Sullivan were across from him. Morrison placed a file on the table. "Mr. Hayes, you touched Ashley Turner's bicycle on August 15th, 2003. Your fingerprint is on the handlebars and brake levers. 100% match. How do you explain this?" Richard remained silent, looked at his lawyer. The lawyer said, "My client will not speak." Morrison nodded. "Okay, then I'll speak." Ashley left home on her bicycle that morning, turned onto County Road HH, entered the forest road. You followed her, made her drop her bicycle, attacked her, killed her, buried her body in the forest, threw her bicycle into the bushes, told lies for 18 years. Is that right? Richard's hands were shaking. His eyes filled. I... The lawyer said, "Richard, don't talk." But Richard couldn't take it anymore. The 18-year burden was heavy. "I just wanted to talk," he said. Morrison leaned forward. "What did you want to talk about?" "I don't know, just... She was so beautiful. Young and beautiful. I... Richard burst into tears. "I followed her, tried to stop her. She ran. I chased. I caught. She tried to resist. I strangled, killed." On July 3rd, 2021, Sheboygan Police Department directed the forest excavation team to the north of County Road HH. They went to the place Richard Hayes described. Among the trees, 200 meters from the roadside, they began digging. 2 hours later, they found skeletal remains. The forensic team removed the bones. DNA analysis was done. Result was 100% match, Ashley Turner. Linda Turner sat at the police station. Detective Morrison gave her the news. "We found her, Linda. We found Ashley." Linda cried. After 18 years, she could bury her daughter. Richard Hayes was found guilty of murder. On November 12th, 2021, the court read its decision. Life in prison, no parole. Richard bowed his head, said nothing. Linda Turner stood up in court, looked at Richard. "I waited 18 years. Every day I hoped my daughter would return. You killed her and lived next to us, ate with us, prayed for us. But you were the killer. Now justice has been served. Ashley will rest in peace." Richard Hayes was taken to prison. He will spend the rest of his life there. Ashley Turner's funeral was held on November 20th, 2021, in Sheboygan. Hundreds attended. Linda Turner stood at her daughter's grave, placed the pink bell on the headstone. "Now you're at peace, baby," she said. Ashley Turner died at 17, but came home 18 years later. The pink bell brought her home.